Hi, I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be how to become a man who succeeds in life and with women. So I've got a really good email success story that is a decade in the making. So it's from a guy who is now a commissioned officer in the U.S. Army. And he says, in his own words, 10 years ago, he was, let me find his own words here. He says he was a lazy, overweight, 275-pound slob with high blood pressure and high cholesterol. And so obviously at some point in his journey over the past decade, also he was, when he first found my work, he had just gotten divorced or was in the process of getting a divorce. So he completely changed his life. I mean, he was making 6 figures and then decided to go and work for Uncle Sam in the government, obviously taking a pay cut, but he was following his heart and his true calling in life, because that's what men do. Men must accomplish their purpose and their mission in life, and it had always been his dream, because he was almost 30 at the time, and so you can imagine, you're kind of old for that. I think he was 28. And he said he went in the Army when he was 31. So, most people go in when they're much younger. And it's like, he wants to become a commissioned officer. It's like, oh, dude, well, it's kind of late in your career for that. Why would you want to give up that 6-figure job? But he hated it. He was overweight, going through a divorce. And so now he's living the life he's always dreamed of. And so I've got a quote that I wrote on this particular topic, and then we'll go through his email and see what he did. So hopefully it inspires those of you watching this, because no matter where you are in life, in order to get from where you are to where you want to be someday, and you remember, as I talked about in my second book, Mastering Yourself, you got to think in terms of decades when it comes to accomplishing your grandest goals and dreams. And this guy basically took a decade to completely change his life around for the better. This is not an overnight thing. Anybody that is successful in life, you never hear about all their struggles or the late nights, or like in my case, sleeping on my dad's couch for 4 years after having made $500,000 a year, and then on top of that, waiting tables for 10 months and going home in a slow season with 80 or $100 in his pocket, when that was basically what I used to blow at lunch on a daily basis back when I was in real estate. So obviously it's a very humbling experience. And so why would a guy like me go from making $500,000 in real estate to being willing to sleep on his dad's couch for 4 years, and because it was a slow season during the summer, make the kind of money that I would basically spend going to lunch, maybe taking myself and somebody else out to lunch? That's pretty humbling. But I was willing to do it, and I was willing to suffer because I believed in what I was doing, and I believed that someday, some way, somehow, I would figure it out. I'd figure the right way to, in other words, monetize my passions, monetize the things that I had been really good at helping myself with, and then teach other people to do it in a way that they could see value to where they'd want to buy my books or hire me to coach them personally. So as the quote says, as Jocko Willink says, discipline equals freedom. This means that everything a man wants to have, become, and do is a result of disciplining himself to take daily productive action towards reaching his full potential in every area of life that is important to him. This means taking action even when you don't feel like it, don't feel motivated, don't feel inspired, and don't really believe that success is possible. And when you're on that 10-year journey, there's going to be lots of days where it's going to feel hopeless and like it's never going to work out. And you're going to have other people telling you, it's a stupid idea, it's never going to work out, you're crazy. But you have to have your own reasons why you do what you do, your own emotion compelling reasons. This is a simple difference between exceptional men who have it all and men who are mediocre and average. Self-actualizing people must be what they can be. That part, self-actualizing, people must be what they can be. I originally heard that from Dr. Wayne Dyer. I think it's a paraphrase. I can't remember exactly what he said. It was something along those lines. It's very powerful. So what's a self-actualizing person? Somebody that has a vision for their lives and then resolves to pay the price to make that vision a reality. And this particular viewer, that's what he's done. So let's go through his email. He says, Corey, 10 years ago, I was a 28-year-old male, he puts in quotes, that didn't know a thing about what I know now about life and women. Truth is, women are just a part of your life. Follow your truth as a man, and the women part is just easy. Obviously, he's referring to what I teach in 3% Man, my first book, which you can read for free at understandingrelationships.com. It teaches a guy what to focus on to make himself maximally attractive, and obviously gives you pickup skills, dating skills, and relationship skills that you can take with you the rest of your life. And 100 years from now, these same principles, the same philosophy will still be working, because women respond to male and masculine strength characteristics. It's natural and it's innate. Despite our mode of communication or technology and how that changes, at the end of the day, feminine women are attracted to masculine men. It's sexual polarity. And it's the same thing in whether it's a gay relationship or in lesbian relationships. You always have one that's more masculine and you have one that's more feminine. When they're too similar to each other, they become like roommates or friends. It doesn't matter whether it's heterosexual, gay, lesbian, you have to have sexual polarity. Without the sexual polarity, there's no sexual attraction. And there's no sexual intimacy. He says, 10 years ago, I had been through a horrible divorce, but just before that, I realized my truth about what I wanted to do in life. I was finally able to be truthful with myself and knew what I wanted to become, a commissioned officer in the U.S. Army. It took me 9 years, but I did it at the age of 37. That's awesome, dude. Well, welcome to the 3% Club. The sweet nectar of life. And you can get these sweet mugs at teespring.com, which I think is now called spring.com, the Coach Corey Wayne store. Only if you deserve it. Only if you've made it like this gentleman has. This man, this grown-ass man has made it as a commissioned officer in the U.S. Army. He says, I was able to keep up and beat kids that were in their early 20s right out of high school, both in basic combat training and later in the Reserve Officer Training Corps. It began by giving up a 6-figure mediocre career, and there's a lot of people that watch this going, damn, I'd like to be making 6 figures, that I hated. And if you work a job and you're making a lot of money but you hate it, that's going to shorten your life. If you don't like getting up and going to work every day, and I've had a lot of people over the years that I've coached that have given up 6-figure jobs and then gone into work in different government agencies because that was their dream. I've had people that I've been doing phone sessions with, and they've decided to go into special forces because it's something they always wanted to do, but mentally they doubted that they could do it. And of course they succeeded, and they're doing great. And I'm very proud of them. Emails like this make everything worth it. All the struggles and all the shit I wrote about and mastering yourself, it makes it all worth it. To know that somebody can find me on the internet, watch my videos, read my articles, read my books, because everything's free. The books are free. You can read them at understandingrelationships.com. Just subscribe to the email newsletter. Even the latest, Quotes, Ruminations, and Contemplations, you can read that one for free as well. But I give the information out so everything's there. You don't have to put down thousands of dollars to learn all this stuff. It's all there, and all you have to do is apply it. Even if you think I'm full of crap, if you apply the things I teach, it will work for you. I teach the science, the fundamentals of the science of high achievement, in which that really, quite frankly, should be taught to elementary school kids. But I teach it on the internet. The internet is my classroom. My website is my classroom. He says, it began by giving up a six-figure mediocre career that I hated and enlisting at the age of 31 in 2015 after being remarried and having one child. I enlisted with the purpose of giving me a stepping stone to my path of becoming a commissioned officer. Once I finished my schooling in 2016 for my first enlisted MOS, I planned on applying to become an officer at my first assignment. Once I reported to my first assignment, I told them about my aspirations, and they told me that I would have to put them on hold due to a deployment that was in the pipeline. During the deployment, this was back in 2017, so he says, during the deployment, I took classes at night and would only get 3 or 4 hours of sleep at night. So this is the difference between successful people and mediocre people. So what he actually did was he gave up some sleep in order to study, to get some more time out of the day. And he sacrificed for himself and for his career and his dreams and obviously his kid. Because kids are going to they're going to follow your example. They're not going to do what you tell them to do. They're going to do what you do. They're going to imitate you. They're going to mimic you. So whatever example you're setting for them, that's what they're going to emulate when they grow up. And that's just a fact of life. And even once they grow up, they'll still follow your example. The deployment ended up being a blessing because it gave me much needed Army experience, and I was able to get ahead of the curve with school by taking online classes. When I got back, I immediately enrolled in the Reserve Officer Training Corps ROTC program at my university in 2018. In May of 2020, I did it. I commissioned as an officer in the United States Army. Nice job. So this is what is the great part. Like he says, 10 years ago, I was a lazy, overweight, 275-pound slob with high blood pressure and high cholesterol. Today, I am told on a daily basis by women that I look like I am in my mid-20s. The ones that tell me that look at me like they want to fuck my brains out. I'm shocked. An in-shape man who takes care of his body is attractive to women? Guess what? 74% of all American men are obese or overweight. And if you're an in-shape dude who is squared away like this guy, you sent pictures, it's like, he's a good-looking dude. He's in great shape. You'd never know that he used to be 275 pounds overweight. But you can tell by looking at him, he is a badass. A dangerous but kind man. I am healthy and fit, and I can outrun most of my peers that are in their 20s. Well, like Jocko says, discipline equals freedom. I am once again single, but it was my choice. I have dated girls that I dreamed was never possible. Well, dude, it's your birthright to be with a beautiful woman. Why would you want to be with an average woman? It doesn't make your dick hard. Simple as that. My parents died when I was young, and I wasn't shown how to be a man, but by reading your book and watching your videos, I was able to learn. Thank you for giving me the tools to be successful in life. To your followers, he puts in big, bold letters, tell them to read your book 10 to 15 times and then read it some more. What I like about quotes, ruminations, and contemplations and what everybody's telling me is that it ties together both of the first two books. Because there's about 250 quotes in there from the thousands, random selection of them from the thousands of articles that I've done over the years. And so I read the quote in the audiobook and obviously the paperback, hardcover, and digital versions. And then I kind of freestyle it just like I do in my videos. And that's what people seem to like, is it ties everything together. But you can read it all for free at understandingrelationships.com and try before you buy. So he says, love you, brother, Bob. Well, thanks, dude. You know what? Emails like this are always great and appreciated. Welcome to the 3% Club. And thanks for being you, because not only are you changing your life and helping to change the lives of people that are watching this or listening to this in podcast format, but your son is now going to emulate your example. And because you're a man to look up to, and not just you, but everybody that you serve with, you're impacting all of them. you're bringing your masculinity to wherever you go, and you make it safe for all the ladies that are in your orbit and your circle to feel safe and comfortable enough to move into their feminine energy and be submissive and sweet and kind and playful and joyful. So if you got a question or a challenge and you'd like to get my help, go to understandingrelationships.com, click the products tab at the top of your screen, and book a coaching session with yours truly. Until next time, go Army!